Adam had always believed his life was simple. He worked at a small repair shop in town, fixed broken things for other people, and returned each evening to the old house he had inherited from his grandfather. The house stood quietly at the edge of town, surrounded by tall trees and a rusted fence. It was not beautiful, but it felt safe. Adam grew up there, listening to his grandfather's stories by the fireplace and learning how to fix loose doors and broken steps. After his grandfather passed away, Adam stayed. He did not change much in the house. The same wooden floors, the same narrow stairs, and the same attic door above the hallway remained untouched. The attic was a place Adam never liked. As a child, he found it dark and uncomfortable. As an adult, he simply ignored it. One warm afternoon, Adam noticed something strange. A small wet spot appeared on the ceiling of his bedroom. At first, he thought it was nothing. But over the next few days, the spot grew larger, and drops of water fell onto the floor. Adam knew the roof needed attention. He sighed and looked up at the ceiling. There was no avoiding it anymore. He would have to go into the attic. The next morning, Adam brought a flashlight, a toolbox, and a cloth to wipe away dust. He pulled down the attic ladder slowly. The wood made a loud sound as it unfolded, as if the house itself was waking up. Adam climbed carefully. Each step felt heavier than the last. When he reached the top, he pushed the attic door open and stepped inside. The air was thick and dry. Dust floated in the light from his flashlight. Old boxes were stacked everywhere. Some were filled with books, others with broken tools, old clothes, and things Adam did not remember seeing before. The attic smelled like wood and time. Adam moved slowly, careful not to step through the weak floorboards. He searched for the source of the leak, lifting boxes and shifting old furniture. After several minutes, he found nothing unusual above his bedroom. As he turned to leave, his foot hit something solid. Adam looked down and frowned. It was not a box. It was a piece of furniture. An old wardrobe stood against the far wall of the attic, almost hidden behind broken chairs and loose boards. Adam had no memory of this wardrobe. Curious, he walked toward it. The wardrobe was tall and heavy, covered in dust. Its surface was smooth under his fingers. Adam pushed it gently, expecting it to slide a little. Instead, it moved easily, as if it had been placed there to be moved. Behind it, something unexpected appeared. A door. Adam froze. The door was not small. It was full size, like a door you would find inside a normal house. It had a handle, a lock, and even a thin wooden frame around it. The color was faded, but the door itself looked strong. Adam's heart began to beat faster. He stepped back and looked around the attic again. Nothing else seemed unusual. Just the same dusty boxes and broken furniture. The door did not belong there. It made no sense. Adam wiped the door with his cloth. The dust came away easily, revealing clean wood beneath. He placed his ear against the door and listened. There was no sound, no wind, no movement. He knocked once. The sound was hollow. Adam swallowed. His mind raced with questions. Had his grandfather built this door? Had someone else lived here before? Why had it been hidden so carefully? Part of him wanted to turn around and leave. He could push the wardrobe back, forget what he saw, and call a repair worker for the roof. But curiosity had already taken hold of him. Adam reached for the handle. It turned smoothly. The door opened inward. Adam took a step back, his breath catching in his chest. Beyond the door was not darkness. It was light. A narrow hallway stretched forward, lit by soft yellow lamps attached to the walls. The floor was wooden and clean. The walls were painted a warm cream color. The ceiling was high enough for Adam to stand straight. It looked like the inside of a house. Adam stood at the doorway, unable to move. His attic could not possibly hold something like this. The space did not make sense. From the outside, the house was small. There was no room for another structure inside it. Yet there it was. Adam slowly stepped forward, crossing the doorway. The air inside felt warmer, cleaner. The smell of dust disappeared, replaced by the scent of old wood and something faintly familiar. He turned back and looked at the door he had just passed through. From this side, it looked like a normal interior door. The attic was no longer visible. Adam's heart pounded. He walked slowly down the hallway, touching the wall with his hand to steady himself. The floor did not creak. Everything felt solid and real. Halfway down the hall, Adam saw framed pictures hanging on the wall. He stopped and looked closely. The pictures showed the inside of a house. A kitchen. A living room. A small bedroom. Everything looked old, but well kept. Adam felt a strange feeling in his chest. A sense of recognition, mixed with fear. At the end of the hallway, there was another door. Adam stood still, staring at it. He did not know what waited on the other side. But one thing was clear. The house he had lived in all his life was hiding a secret far greater than a leaking roof. And whatever was inside this hidden house was about to change everything Adam thought he knew about his family and his past. Adam stood in front of the door at the end of the hallway for a long moment. His hand hovered in the air, unsure whether to move forward or turn back. His mind told him to leave. His feet refused to listen. The quiet inside the hidden hallway felt different from the silence of the attic. It was calm, almost welcoming. Adam slowly opened the door. He stepped into a living room. The room was large and fully furnished. A sofa sat near the wall. A wooden table stood in the center. Shelves filled with books lined one side of the room. A rug covered the floor, clean and neatly placed. Everything looked old but carefully kept, as if someone had cleaned the space not long ago. Adam walked further inside. His shoes made soft sounds on the floor. He touched the back of the sofa. It felt real and solid. This was not a dream. On one wall hung a large clock. It was not ticking. The hands were frozen at a single time. Adam frowned, feeling uneasy. He checked his phone. Time was moving normally for him. He moved toward the kitchen, which was visible through an open doorway. The kitchen had cabinets, a sink, and a small table with 2 chairs. Plates were neatly stacked. A kettle rested on the stove. There was no dust. Adam felt his chest tighten. Someone had lived here. Maybe someone still did. He called out softly, asking if anyone was there. His voice echoed slightly, but there was no reply. Adam returned to the living room and noticed a set of photographs on a side table. He picked one up. The photo showed an older man standing in front of a house. Adam recognized the face immediately. It was his grandfather. Adam's hands trembled. He placed the photo down and picked up another. This one showed a younger version of his grandfather sitting in the same living room Adam now stood in. The furniture was the same. The walls were the same. Adam felt his legs weaken and sat down slowly. Why had his grandfather never spoken about this place? He looked around again, his eyes catching small details. The way the furniture was arranged. The pattern on the rug. It all felt familiar, like memories he could not fully reach. Adam stood up and walked toward a narrow hallway that led deeper into the hidden house. Several doors lined the walls. He opened the first door on the left. It was a bedroom. The bed was neatly made. A wooden wardrobe stood against the wall. A small desk sat near the window. Adam walked closer to the window and stopped. There was no view outside. The glass showed only a soft, pale light, as if the room existed without any connection to the outside world. Adam stepped back, feeling uneasy. He opened the wardrobe. Inside were neatly hung clothes. All of them belonged to his grandfather. Adam recognized a jacket his grandfather used to wear every winter. Adam closed the wardrobe slowly. He moved to the next door. Inside was a small study. Papers were stacked on the desk. A lamp stood beside them. Adam picked up one of the papers and began to read. The writing was his grandfather's. The paper talked about the house. about building something hidden, about keeping it safe. Adam read carefully, his heart racing. His grandfather wrote that the hidden house was built to protect something important, something that could not be left in the open. He wrote that the space existed between walls, using methods passed down through the family. It was not meant to be found easily. Adam read on. The final line said that one day, someone in the family would find this place when the time was right. That person would need to understand the truth and make a choice. Adam put the paper down, his mind spinning. What truth? What choice? He left the study and continued down the hallway. The final door was at the very end. It was heavier than the others. Adam placed his hand on it and felt a strange warmth. He took a deep breath and opened it. Inside was a small room with no furniture. The walls were plain. In the center of the room stood a wooden chest. Adam approached it slowly. The chest was locked, but the lock looked old. Adam noticed a small key hanging on a hook beside the door. His grandfather's handwriting was carved beneath it. For when you are ready. Adam held the key in his hand. His heart pounded. He knelt in front of the chest and inserted the key into the lock. It turned easily. Adam opened the chest. Inside were several notebooks, a small metal box, and a folded letter. Adam picked up the letter first and opened it carefully. The letter was written to him. His grandfather explained that the hidden house was not just a place. It was a test. A way to see if Adam would face the unknown instead of turning away. The metal box inside the chest held documents that proved ownership of land far beyond the town. Land that had been protected for generations. But the letter also warned him. If Adam chose to take what was inside, he would also take responsibility. The land needed care. The truth needed protection. The hidden house would no longer remain hidden. Adam sat on the floor, holding the letter in his hands. The discovery had already changed his life. But he now understood that the real change had not yet begun. And whatever choice Adam made next would shape not only his future, but the fate of everything his grandfather had worked to protect. Adam stayed inside the small room for a long time, holding the letter in his hands. The words felt heavy, not because they were hard to read, but because they carried meaning that could not be ignored. His grandfather had trusted him with something far greater than a hidden space. This was a responsibility that could shape many lives. Adam carefully placed the letter back into the chest. He took out the notebooks next. There were 5 of them, each worn at the edges. He opened the first one and began to read. The notebook told the story of the land mentioned in the letter. It was large and spread across hills and forests far from town. His grandfather wrote about caring for it, protecting it from people who wanted to divide and sell it. The land held value not just in money, but in balance. It supported wildlife, water sources, and old paths used by local families for generations. Adam closed the notebook slowly. The second notebook talked about the hidden house itself. His grandfather explained how it was built piece by piece over many years. He used quiet methods and careful planning. The space was designed to exist without disturbing the structure around it. The hidden house was meant to stay unseen, unless the right person found it. Adam felt a strange mix of pride and fear. He moved on to the third notebook. This one focused on Adam. His grandfather wrote about watching him grow up. He wrote about Adam's patience, his honesty, and his habit of fixing things instead of throwing them away. These traits were the reason the hidden house was left to him. Adam's eyes filled with tears, but he stayed calm. He placed the notebooks back into the chest and closed it. He did not lock it. He wanted to think. Adam stood up and walked back into the living room. He sat on the sofa and looked around again. The hidden house no longer felt like a mystery. It felt like a message waiting to be answered. After some time, Adam stood and walked back through the hallway. He returned to the attic and closed the hidden door behind him. He pushed the wardrobe back into place and climbed down the ladder. The normal house felt different now. Adam spent the rest of the day walking through each room of his home, thinking. He remembered small moments from his childhood. His grandfather always told him to be careful with trust, to protect what mattered, to think before acting. That night, Adam could not sleep. The next morning, Adam made a decision. He would not rush. He would learn everything his grandfather left behind before making any choice. Over the next few weeks, Adam returned to the hidden house every evening after work. He read the notebooks slowly. He studied the documents inside the metal box. They were real. Maps, records, and legal papers confirmed ownership of the land. Adam also noticed something else. The hidden house responded to him. The lights turned on when he entered. The air stayed warm. The space felt alive, as if it recognized him as its caretaker. One evening, while reading in the study, Adam heard a faint sound. It was soft, like footsteps on wood. Adam froze. He stood up and listened carefully. The sound came again, closer this time. Adam walked toward the living room, his heart beating fast. He looked around. Everything seemed normal. The sound stopped. Adam took a deep breath and told himself it was just the house settling. But deep inside, he knew that was not the truth. The next day, Adam visited the local records office. He wanted to learn more about the history of his grandfather and the land. The clerk, an older woman named Mary, looked surprised when Adam mentioned his grandfather's name. She told Adam that his grandfather was known as a quiet man who helped many people. He donated supplies, repaired homes, and settled disputes without asking for anything in return. But he also kept to himself. Mary lowered her voice and said that many years ago, there were rumors. People believed his grandfather was guarding something important. Some tried to pressure him. Others tried to follow him. Adam thanked her and left. That night, Adam returned to the hidden house with a new sense of caution. He locked the attic door behind him before entering. As he walked through the hallway, he felt watched, not in a threatening way, but in a waiting way. Adam entered the living room and stopped. The clock on the wall was ticking. He stared at it in shock. The hands were moving now. Time was flowing inside the hidden house. Adam stepped closer. The ticking was slow but steady. A voice echoed softly through the room. Not a voice he heard with his ears, but one he felt inside his thoughts. It was calm and familiar. It reminded him of his grandfather. The feeling told him that the hidden house was more than walls and wood. It was built with intention, with care, with a promise. Adam sat down, his hands resting on his knees. The message was clear. The house was ready. Ready for Adam to step fully into his role. Ready for the truth to move forward. Adam knew that keeping the secret forever was no longer possible. People would notice changes. Questions would come. The land would need protection in a new way. Adam stood up and looked toward the hallway leading to the chest. He was no longer just a man who found a hidden house. He was now the guardian of a legacy that demanded action. And the next choice he made would open the hidden house to the world, or seal it forever. Adam stood alone in the living room of the hidden house, listening to the steady sound of the clock. Each tick felt like a reminder that time was moving forward and waiting for him to act. The warmth in the air and the quiet light around him made the space feel calm, yet serious. He walked slowly through the rooms again, this time with new eyes. The hidden house was not only a secret place. It was a bridge between past and future. His grandfather had built it with purpose, and now that purpose rested on Adam's shoulders. Adam decided to begin with the land. Early the next morning, he drove to the edge of town and followed the maps from the metal box. The road turned into a dirt path, then into a narrow track through trees. When he reached the land, he stepped out of the car and stood still. The land was wide and peaceful. Hills rolled gently into the distance. Trees stood tall, and a small stream flowed quietly between rocks. Birds moved freely, and the air felt clean. Adam understood at once why his grandfather had protected this place. Over the next few days, Adam walked the land carefully. He marked old paths, checked the stream, and noted areas where the ground needed care. He did not rush. He listened and learned. While working, Adam noticed signs that others had been there. Fresh tire tracks near the road. Broken branches that did not belong to animals. Someone else had an interest in this land. Adam returned home with a heavy feeling in his chest. That evening, he entered the hidden house and went straight to the study. He searched through the notebooks again, looking for guidance. His grandfather had written about moments like this. About attention drawn to protected places. One notebook mentioned trust. It said that the land could not be protected by one person alone. The right people would need to be brought in, slowly and carefully. Adam knew this would be the hardest part. The next day, Adam spoke with Mary at the records office again. He asked careful questions about conservation groups and local families who respected the land. Mary suggested a small group of people known for protecting natural spaces. Adam contacted them, using simple words and limited details. He asked for advice, not help. He wanted to see how they responded. Their replies were thoughtful and patient. They spoke about care, not profit. Adam felt a sense of relief. Meanwhile, changes inside the hidden house continued. The lights grew brighter. The rooms felt more active. Doors that once felt heavy now opened easily. The house responded to Adam's movements, as if supporting his choices. One night, Adam noticed a new object in the living room. A wooden box sat beneath the clock. He had not seen it before. Adam opened the box and found a small book inside. The pages were blank except for the first one. Written neatly at the top were words in his grandfather's handwriting. For decisions not written yet. Adam understood. This book was for him. He began writing. Adam wrote about the land, his fears, and his plans. He wrote about bringing others in without losing control. He wrote about balance. As the days passed, Adam grew more confident. He set clear boundaries around the land. He worked with the conservation group to create protections without revealing everything. Legal steps were taken quietly. But not everyone was pleased. One afternoon, a man arrived at Adam's house. He was well-dressed and polite. He introduced himself as a developer interested in buying nearby land. His smile was calm, but his eyes were sharp. Adam listened carefully and said very little. He did not reveal what he owned or what he knew. The man left after a short conversation, but his visit left Adam uneasy. That night, Adam returned to the hidden house feeling tense. The clock was ticking louder than usual. Adam sat down and placed his hands on the wooden table. He spoke out loud, asking for guidance, though he did not expect an answer. The air shifted slightly. Adam felt a familiar calm settle around him. He remembered his grandfather's words from the notebooks. Fear weakens protection. Clarity strengthens it. Adam stood up. He knew what he needed to do. Over the next week, Adam finalized protections for the land that would make it difficult to sell or misuse. He ensured the land would remain as it was for many years to come. Inside the hidden house, the clock slowed. The ticking became gentle. One evening, Adam brought Mary into his home. He did not show her the hidden house, but he told her the truth about the land and his goals. Mary listened quietly and nodded. She told Adam that his grandfather would be proud. As Mary left, Adam felt something settle inside him. The final challenge was approaching. The hidden house had one more test. That night, Adam found the hallway longer than before. A new door stood at the end, simple and unmarked. Adam walked toward it slowly. He placed his hand on the door, feeling the familiar warmth. He knew that whatever waited beyond it would decide the future of the hidden house, and whether it would remain a secret forever, or become a symbol of careful trust passed forward. Adam took a deep breath. The choice was near, and Part 5 would reveal the truth his grandfather had prepared him to face. Adam stood in front of the new door at the end of the hallway. The hidden house felt calm, but also complete, as if it had been waiting for this moment. The clock behind him ticked softly, steady and sure. Adam placed his hand on the door and felt the familiar warmth again. He knew this was the final step his grandfather had prepared for him. He opened the door and stepped inside. The room beyond was larger than he expected. It was bright, not from lamps, but from wide windows that showed the land outside. Adam could see the hills, the trees, and the stream flowing gently. The view was clear and open, unlike the closed windows in the other rooms. In the center of the room stood a long wooden table. On it rested a single folder and a small wooden object. Adam walked closer and picked up the folder first. Inside were final documents written in his grandfather's hand. They explained everything clearly. The hidden house was built not only to protect land, but to protect a way of thinking. It was meant to teach patience, care, and responsibility. The last test was not about keeping secrets, but about knowing when to share them wisely. Adam closed the folder slowly. He then picked up the wooden object. It was a simple key, different from the others he had seen. It felt warm and solid in his hand. A small note lay beneath it. The note said that this key did not lock doors. It opened paths. Adam understood. He sat at the table and looked out the window again. The land was peaceful, but it would not stay protected by silence alone. His grandfather had hidden the house to protect it in his time. Adam's time required a different approach. Adam made his choice. Over the next months, Adam worked carefully and openly. He partnered with the conservation group, sharing enough truth to build trust but keeping the deeper secrets safe. He created programs to protect the land through law and community care. People were invited to help maintain the land, to learn its value, and to respect its balance. The interest from developers faded as protections grew stronger. The land became known as a place of learning and calm, not profit. The hidden house changed as well. Rooms that once felt secret now felt settled. The clock ticked at a steady pace. The lights no longer adjusted on their own. The house had accepted Adam's choice. One evening, Adam invited a small group of trusted people to his home. He did not reveal the hidden house to them, but he shared its purpose. He spoke about responsibility and care. His words were simple, but honest. They listened. Adam realized that leadership did not require mystery. It required clarity. As the seasons passed, Adam often returned to the hidden house alone. He wrote in the book beneath the clock, adding his own thoughts and lessons. The book slowly filled with plans, reflections, and hopes. One quiet night, Adam noticed something different. The hidden hallway felt shorter. The rooms felt closer. Adam walked through each space and understood what was happening. The hidden house was no longer growing or changing. Its work was done. In the final room, the windows slowly faded, replaced by plain walls. The table remained, but the folder and key were gone. Adam smiled gently. The house had given him everything it needed to give. Adam returned to the attic and stood before the door. He knew he could close it and hide the house again. But he chose something else. He left the door as it was. Not hidden. Not displayed. Simply present. Years later, Adam became known as a quiet leader in his community. People trusted him. The land remained protected and healthy. Children visited it to learn. Families walked its paths with care. Adam never spoke publicly about the hidden house. He did not need to. Its lesson lived through his actions. On a calm evening, Adam sat in his living room, holding one of his grandfather's old photographs. He felt no sadness, only gratitude. The hidden house had shocked him when he found it. But in the end, it did not give him fear or confusion. It gave him purpose. And that was the greatest discovery of all.